You know, with so much violence in the U.S., one man in Baltimore looked into the past.
And he took what he learned to make art pieces that are relevant in today's world.
Stephen Towns. I started doing art when I think 5 years old, actually, really young. I felt like it was the best way for me to communicate. I've been working on a series of quilts around Nat Turner's Rebellion. It's been a story that I have been researching for about 6 years now. I did it because experiencing the uprising, I started to wonder about violence and how we talk about violence in the news, in history books. And what I've learned from all my research from history is that America has had a very violent past. And so for me, I had to create this body of work to talk about America's violent history against today's sort of violence. And that's really the only way that we can reckon with what's going on today. I drew out some ideas to talk about a baptism that Nat Turner did. And I tried drawing out the idea, I tried painting the idea, and it just never worked. And so I finally decided that it's something that I had to quilt. It's large, it's expansive, and it's a tradition that has been used by African Americans for centuries. I didn't know how to sew. I learned sewing actually through YouTube, watching a lot of YouTube videos and tutorials. This was like a very pivotal, important event in Nat Turner's life. He was baptizing this white man, and it was like something that wasn't supposed to be done. And I feel like what I've done, incorporating that figure and incorporating Turner is going to tell the story well. Nat Turner's Rebellion was something that I didn't learn in school. It just sort of blew me away, like this story, this very violent story. But it did lead to the Civil War, and it did actually eventually lead to the freeing of the slaves. When I've displayed my work in places, I've had my work taken down. I've had people become very uncomfortable with my work. So there's always sorts of challenges when you're talking about race and racism in America's history, especially at such a turbulent time. But I feel like it's the time to talk about it until we sort of face this history and face it in an honest way. Then we are bound to repeat it over and over and over again. So you always have to check the stitches from the front and the back. Making quilts is hard. Making a body of work is hard. And for me, it felt like I felt justification in making the work as soon as a work would be completed. I'm not an expert, but I'm making nice, beautiful things, and it's good to be praised on it and have people see it.
Well, you can see Stephen Towns' artwork at the Baltimore Museum of Art. His Rumination and Reckoning exhibit will run from March the 7th all the way through September the 2nd. ABC2 is working for you, bringing you stories that highlight the importance of this month. Watch our Bridging the Gap special. It's coming up Wednesday night at 7 o'clock on Bounce. You can also check out our stories on our website, abc2news.com/Black History Month.